Monday edition of the J&J Power Hour. This is all on me. I couldn't wait. I was not going to... By Thursday, too much shit has changed. I couldn't be bothered. It's time to get this out. So it is a very... Ignore the graphic. It's 9 p.m. Monday this week. Australian Central Daylight Saving Time. We'll be back to normal next week. Nothing's changing. Nothing's maneuvering or anything like that. But I have now slept on the Royal Rumble because remember the Royal Rumble airs in the morning my time. So I had the whole day to sit on that, by the way, which was just awesome. And then I've slept on it and thought, hey, maybe in the morning I'll have a bit of a fresher mind going out of the Royal Rumble and, all of that. You've had a sleep and a whole day to kind of let your thoughts simmer. I've had a sleep and a day before to let my thoughts simmer. And I thought some things about me would change, like the kind of internal rage I have about the Royal Rumble change, but it hasn't. And that's not great. So we're going to talk all things Royal Rumble today. It might be a bit of a bitchy show, but you know us. We're pretty positive about wrestling usually, but we have
for the most part,
we have some thoughts. First and foremost, man, oh man, what a week it's been. Fightful Overbooked for me debuted last Thursday. We talked about Judy Bagwell on a forklift, me and Joel Pearl. What a hoot of a show that is to do with Joel. Like, I'm glad it's out there and it's just a complete nonsense show where we can just be idiots. And me and Joel seem to shine in that light. So, I'm very, very excited. And now that we're going into February, guys, I can say this, the whole month of February on So Bad It's Good, we're talking all things wrestling weddings because, it's the month of love.
It is the month of love. Valentine's Day. It makes sense.
And I will say, I won't give you because Joel will release it a little later in the week of who we're talking about, but it's not the wedding you're thinking of that we're doing first. I'll just put it that way.
Okay.
I'll just put it that way.
Okay.
Just put it that way. But yes, Fightful Overbooked start for me. I got some other stuff happening. I've had a lot of stuff happen in the last week, which is really cool. I said this on my Twitch stream. It'll now be 2 days ago when this comes out. But just thank you for all the support. And I've got a lot of support this week and a lot of people in my corner, which is really overwhelming, but like a nice thing to have. Like, I can't thank people enough. But I won't bitch on about that too much. JPJ, you've got you mentioned last week on this show, you've got Fightful Overbooked starting for you as well.
Yes.
Kind of out in the...
Hopefully this week at the latest next week, but I think we're trying to aim for this week. But yeah, we got something... I know I've told you about it. I teased it last week a little bit too. We got something a little different that I think it'll be fun. It's going to be a fun little thing that we're doing with the hopes of releasing it this week, but it'll be coming out real soon. So... Yeah, I'm excited about that. When it comes out, I know Joel will announce it and kind of do his thing on that end. But yeah, real soon it'll be coming out, and I think people will dig it. It'll be it's a different spin on like wrestling news / things like that. So I think people will dig it.
How cool is Fightful Overbooked? Apart from the stuff that we're involved in, like, oh my God.
No, we're releasing, 1 or 2 videos a day over there, and they're quick and funny. And, some are funny. Some are the standard, like, hey, we're going to review wrestling. Some are we're going to watch along base. Like, it's all different variety of stuff. We have a show about fashion on there. We got, it's some fun stuff. It's some real fun stuff.
And we're not paid or sponsored. We don't have to talk about Fightful Overbooked on this show if we don't want to. We just genuinely want to. And like, it genuinely is cool to have like different voices, but like kind of an underlining tone of Jeremy and Joel. Like, that's a cool situation like to be in. And I was watching the Grappy Hour with Lily, and then I watched Hits and Misses with Drew and Joel, of course, Joel on both of these. And they're like so different from one another. And then the show that I have is so different from them. And the show that you're working on is going to be so different from, it's just a very cool variety. And it's not, there is some shows that's going to analyze wrestling, and there's shows that's not going to analyze wrestling. And there's just a perfect balance of that. And it's really just a cool situation to be involved in. So,
it is.
So Fightful Overbooked, everyone. YouTube.com/Fightful Overbooked, and you can find all the stuff that you need to find. But we are here for a reason. The Royal Rumble. We had so much hype, man. Last week, we were jerking that thing off harder than you could jerk anyone off. I was so hyped for that show. What a bunch of buzz. And I feel like a lot of people, WWE haters or not, were like, oh, this show's going to be, it's the Rumble, guys. It's a fun time, all of this kind of stuff. Let's start at the beginning of this night, because I don't think there's any way we just have to kind of head on with this thing, because
just go through. Yeah.
there's a lot to talk about. We're going to spend a lot of time on the Rumbles, but let's talk about Roman and Seth right off the bat. Man, was it cool to hear the Shield's music?
Yep. So I was gonna say right off the bat, they sold me.
Mm-hmm.
I loved, you hear Roman's theme to start off. You hear the crowd like, okay, Roman's here. Like it's a big
Hot
deal
crowd,
when you hear
too. Hot
yes,
St. Louis crowd.
That crowd, once that music hit, and they were like, oh shit, Roman and Seth is first. Let's go. That crowd got excited, and then when Roman's in the ring, you hear the Shield music, and you see his face and Rollins is in full Shield gear coming through the crowd, but he's doing his
shtick.
Newer modern Seth shtick, but he's that.
So
he
good.
even did the flip over the barricade that he used to do. Oh my God.
I lost my mind.
And then he just got up laughing. Oh my God.
I literally popped when I heard the Shield. I went, oh my God. Oh, yeah. Like, this is awesome. And then they had this belter of a match. They kill it.
So good.
I mean, they always kill it. Those two together is like, just give me them, and I'm pretty happy. And like, to see Seth get that crowd back to him again, it's like, oh man, Seth's a great chicken shit heel, but he's a great baby face.
Oh, he's a great baby. Like right now, he's
in a
he's hot right now. Like he's the top baby face in the company. I would say right now
he's in a cool pocket, and I'm into it. And they just work like they just gel. They're just the perfect combination. And all the throwbacks with the everything, and the DQ finish, I was a little bit like, the first match of the night, guys. Like, come on. Yeah. I understood it from the story perspective, and then it was really cool to get the chair shot to the back, and then, he fell Roman fell. Like, okay, like, I got past the DQ because I understand it. Now, I've said this many times, JPJ. Why is it that WWE have baby faces but book them all like fucking morons? Why does he have to look so sad and like he got beat up? Like, I don't know where the story's going. Obviously, it hasn't got too many legs to go too far.
Because... To me, it felt like, To me, it felt like with the stuff post match, where Roman hits him with the chair, just like same exact way, the same exact fall, and then he dents the chair over Rollins. That felt like, to me, that was Roman saying, "I'm done with this. That's my revenge. I got you back for what you did to me when it ended, however long ago, and I'm done with you." And as the night progresses, which we'll get into, it looks like Roman is on to the next thing. So that's what it felt like for me. I just wish, I'm not going to sit here and say it, pardon me, I'm not going to sit here and say it 100% didn't make sense to me. I just wish they had this match ruled, man. They had such a great...
Reigns clean is not...
Yes.
That does not hurt you.
No. He could have just passed out in the guillotine.
Crowd goes crazy.
And that could have been that.
Blah, blah, blah.
And that could have been that. And then Roman's celebrating, and he sees him starting to get up, and he decides to do the thing with the chair. And that's it.
Fine.
It doesn't change anything.
I'm not completely pissed at the DQ, but it's just like, when you're at a big pay-per-view and all you do on television is DQ finishes, just like, can we just have, even if he cheated and won, like, I would have been okay with that. Like, just to get a pinfall or a submission, just, why do we always have to do a DQ? But I got past it because it was a bang, like a true banger of a match. Good. Like, good.
Real good.
White hot crowd, white hot reactions for both of them. It was just really, really, really fun. And I was like, okay, we're setting the tone off pretty well. And then, of course, you go into the second match, which is the Women's Royal Rumble. Now, this match, while definitely the better of the two, was not the best Women's Rumble I've ever seen. It was not the best Rumble I've ever seen, and it had a lot of this. Let me explain, because I know you liked this Rumble. I liked it, but there was elements of it that I really fucking hated.
Yeah, there was one major element of it that I did not like, and that was the winner.
But let's go through this Rumble, because there were some really high spots in it. Because this is going to be a little bit more of a positive take on this Rumble than what we talk about a little after. So it started with Sasha Banks in full Sailor Moon getup.
Loved it.
Okay, I will say, everyone's gear on point. They knew the assignment. I'm a gear guy. I like cool gear, and those girls knew what they were fucking doing. They all own their gear, and it looked good. Sasha's was exceptionally well. We got a surprise to kick us off, which was Melina. And that's awesome
Yep.
because I wanted Melina. I said to you weeks ago, I was like,
Yes.
just give me Melina. I want
Mhm.
Melina, and I got Melina. Big pop for
Oh,
Melina.
yeah.
Perfect music for
Deserving.
a pop. Like, perfect music that just, it took me back to 2007. I was like, it's Melina and Eminem and all of that
Yeah.
kind of stuff. Now, here's the first element of it that it wasn't great. I don't know if some people saying she slipped and fell. I really don't know, but she was out before number 3 even got to the ring.
Correct.
Didn't hit a move.
Real quick.
Didn't hit anything.
I feel like
Did
no,
she slip?
I feel like
Did she slip, or was that it? I think
don't
it was
think
intentional.
the way
The way it was
I think
booked,
it was the way that I viewed it. Yeah, the way that I viewed it, it looked like Sasha just eliminated her. Like that
which
was the
is
plan, and Sasha.
she couldn't even hit one offensive maneuver.
Yeah, very bizarre. And I feel like as we go through this, especially with the women's rumble, because there were obviously more surprises and returns in it. I felt like a lot of the surprises, especially the legendary surprises, were very quick.
This was my rumble.
They were quick.
This was the Divas era rumble, and they all got, for the most part, well, not all, majority of them got buried in that rumble.
I think besides Michelle McCool, I think that whole Mickey last
she's in a different. They did.
Yeah, but
we'll talk about Mickey in a minute. But let's go through this as we kind of go. But Melina was out fast, like she was out of there, and she looked great. Melina looks great. I would have liked to see her tango a little more though, because clearly, and we've seen in the last few months, Melina can still go. It's not a question of Melina not being able to go. Who knows? Maybe this is the start of a cool relationship between her and WWE again, and she kind of bookend her career with WWE. I mean, it's where she started and everything like that. I would not be opposed to watching her and Banks wrestle. Just putting it out there. I would like that.
Me neither. Me neither at all.
I would like that a lot. So then we had like Tamina come in. There was like, I can't even remember who. I have only watched this once. I don't remember who was like 4 and 5. I know Liv was in relatively early. Had people like early. That. Perhaps Kelly was in relatively early too.
She was.
She didn't really do a lot. She got eliminated pretty fast by Sasha. Here's the first. Okay, Melina was the first really weird elimination. Kelly, okay, she's been in a few rumbles. She's been back a few times. Okay, I've got my nostalgia out for Kelly, and I'm like, okay, I understand like quick eliminations for people like her. The first real head scratching decision of the night was Sasha's elimination.
I wanted to, she was eliminated before we even got to number 10. Now, I know she had been out for a little bit, so I don't know if they wanted to play it safe.
But there's an overlying problem with the Rumble this year, both of them.
Oh, yeah.
There is just anticlimactic nothing eliminations. They just happen.
Yeah, very bizarre. Very bizarre. And I thought this was one of them. Like
the first, this was Melina, but like this is like Sasha.
This was because you expect Sasha to be
an Iron Woman.
She comes out at number 1, and we'll talk about it. Both the participants in both of these rumbles that came out number 1. I expected to be in the final 4 of each Royal Rumble. Like I expected them to be the Iron Woman, the Iron Man of the Rumble and make their way deep into these rumbles. And like you said.
Sasha was
eliminated
early.
Yeah, very bizarre. Very, very bizarre.
And like
so again,
crowd,
I don't know if they were like
the crowd was like, the fuck? What? And then they did do it smart by having Bianca come out because she was really the glue that kind of kept this flowing for a long time because she was listen, this is an overlining problem we're going to talk about. We're going to beat this idea to death. WWE don't know how to build stars, and they desperately needed people in that rumble, both of those rumbles yesterday. Bianca was one of them, and she come right in right as Sasha got eliminated, and it was like, well, you did something smart there because the crowd would have been like, because like Zelina was in there, Liv was in there. I know Zelina eliminated Sasha, didn't she? It was Zelina, I think.
Yes, it was Zelina that eliminated. So maybe that's where they'll head in a feud. I mean, they were messing. They were kind of feuding when Sasha got hurt, right? Like, wasn't she?
No, they're on different.
What was Sasha doing before she left? Are they on different brands?
Charlotte. She was with Charlotte.
Oh yeah, I don't know what they. I felt like.
But brands don't matter, JPJ. Let's just be honest.
No, they don't. Rollins is on Raw. He fought the SmackDown.
I'm sorry, but there's a lot of plans coming into place for WrestleMania, and Sasha Banks does not seem to be focused on in those plans, and that's a problem.
So my problem was, especially with both, like, I thought the Royal Rumble is where the final plans are made. That's
And there was
usually
nothing
how I
except for one
there was
story.
nothing. One story, which has been a story we've been fucking watching since October or September, whatever the fuck. Yeah, and like that's the only story that was the overriding story of the night, which we'll get to.
Yeah, we're gonna get to
like,
that. But Sasha,
it's a story that we've already. It was very bizarre. Like, what's Sasha Banks doing at WrestleMania right now? If you had any guess, any clue besides.
To be honest, she'll probably be booked in like a 4-way tag team match.
Yep.
An afterthought.
Maybe.
The woman who main evented WrestleMania last year. An afterthought.
Yeah. And okay, so we were talking about this, and while I agree with you that it was a good idea if you knew Sasha was going out at that moment to have Bianca come out right after, how do you not book it that they have a moment in the Royal Rumble together?
Because
after that,
suck my farts. Apparently, WWE said "fuck you" to a lot of shit last night.
A lot tonight. Last night. A lot last night. Because
whatever.
Sasha and Bianca, they won an SP. They had the moment of the year
we
last
don't care.
year.
We don't care about people right now.
They you couldn't even have them walk by each other on the ramp. Like Sasha leaving and then they cross at the ramp and at least like acknowledge each other and be like, "Hey,
I don't know, dude.
Nothing.
It really
There's absolutely nothing."
I will say there was someone who looked great in the Royal Rumble last night, Michelle McCool. Man, oh man, put her back into the fucking mix. She has not missed a single step in that ring. She came in and owned that ring last night. She hit faith breakers and big boots, and she did not fumble a single step in that ring. And she looks great. She's in shape. Like, okay, I want Michelle. Like, Layla said on Twitter that she was invited to the Rumble, said no, but she would love to do something with Michelle again. I want to be on screen with Michelle again. Can we have Lay Cool go for the tag titles or something? Cool. Like, we have no women's tag teams. Let's just...
As we start diving in, I think they kind of set up some women's tag team stuff towards the end of this a little bit, but they did it in the wrong way, which I'll vent about.
We'll get to there in a minute. We're going to talk
as we get to it.
So Michelle,
but
like double thumbs up.
She looked great. Yeah, I thought honestly, besides her, Lita, and I thought Mickie James for the most part had a good run in this run. Yeah. Like they did okay by her.
I think so.
I thought Michelle McCool was treated the best out of all.
She got a few eliminations, I think.
She got a few eliminations. She was in there for a while. Where I feel like the rest of them, as we'll dive into, were real quick. We already talked about Melina. That was a real quick one. There were a couple other standout
Let's talk
ones.
About Cameron, okay? How do you not have Cameron and Naomi in the ring together? That was the whole point of this, wasn't it?
Exactly. 100% a prop for the Sonya Deville Naomi continuation.
Cameron did a few cool little spots, by the way. She got in there.
She did.
I was like, good for you, Cameron. But like, wasn't the whole idea is to have like, okay, she doesn't need to be in there for 40 minutes, but like a couple minutes, be with Naomi, then Sonya can toss her out. But like, there was no, like Naomi walked over to Cameron as she got eliminated, said bye-bye, and then got in the ring, and I was like, wasn't that the whole point of bringing Cameron back is just to further this story? Like, I don't understand. Like, it was the first, like one of the first of like, I was just going, why did you do that? And then the Naomi spot got fucked on because Sonya was there and they're still going with this story. Like, I thought it was nicely bookend at SmackDown, but obviously not. They want to keep going with this. I'm fine with it, keep going, but you need to do other things than just Sonya is in charge and I'm going to make the referee screw you over and I'm going to put you in a handicap match. Like, truly, where can we go with this? Like, other than just that happening every single week. And I'm for a long story. I'm for a non-championship story. I'm all for it. And I like these two women. They had a belter of a match on SmackDown, by the way. Really good stuff.
Yeah, they did. 3-segment match.
They had really good stuff. And you know, what legs does this really have the run on? But that's a whole different topic for a whole different day. So Cameron was in there really fast. Summer Rae was in there really fast. I did like how she ran past the camera and said, "Fuck you." That was funny. She was like,
right at Natalya.
And she was like, "Fuck you."
Sprinting towards Natalya. Fuck yeah.
I was like, hell yeah. Summer, she was like, I was just like, I was thinking like, Summer doesn't care. She's not employed. She's just getting a payday.
Knows that's it.
Also,
that's
I will say,
she's getting a pay.
A lot of these women come in for 30 seconds and got a big bank. So good for them. Like, I'm not.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, something that probably my favorite moment of the whole Women's Royal Rumble. You know where I'm going. Right to fucking censor Ivory.
Oh, amazing.
Holy shit.
Amazing.
Okay, first, that woman is in her 60s.
She's 60 years old.
She looks phenomenal.
And she looked the same. She looked the exact
If I look like
same
her at 60,
that she did 20 years ago. Yeah.
like she looks like she's in her 40s.
Yeah. She looks, to me, she looked the exact same. Like in the outfit, I was like, that is
What a
the
gimmick.
exact same. Oh my God. Tremendous.
And on
she's
the
cutting up-
on the .com digital exclusive, she's still in character. She's still in right to censor stuff. Like she is a pro. That woman's been wrestling since the 80s.
Yeah. She cuts a promo walking down the ring the whole time. She had a good little moment with Rhea Ripley. I'm glad they gave Rhea Ripley that moment too, because Rhea Ripley looked good in this Royal Rumble. That was one of the bright spots, was Rhea Ripley. And they give her the moment, and even as Rhea's eliminating her, she's still on the mic. How dare you? Oh, how dare you? She's like yelling on the. She gets thrown out, and she's still screaming on the ground. No, I'm like, and then she does that.
That music.
That was yeah. That was one of my favorite Rumble moments in the last couple years.
Easily the best moment of the night for me. That was top tier, and I didn't think it would be because of all the people in it. I didn't think to censor Ivory. That music is ridiculous. She was all full get up, like full everything. Like that was perfect. It was like a really good like balance of that's how you do comedy in a Rumble. Like it's over the top silliness, and it's just that's wrestling, isn't it? Right there, that's professional wrestling right there. That's sports entertainment right there, whatever you want to call it. But she did great, and that was the definite high spot of that Royal Rumble. So Liv was in there for a bunch of time. Rhea was in there for a bunch of time. Bianca was in there. By the way, Bianca was in there for 47 minutes and eliminated one person. So let's not even.
I was going to say, do you know how many eliminate? Like she's your star. She's your future. Now she is your star. One elimination. And that whole time, like you said, almost 50 minutes. She's in that match. One elimination.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Another high spot. Multiple things with Mickie James. Hardcore Country, Impact Knockouts Championship, acknowledged on TV, held the belt, got a good run, was eliminated by Lita, couldn't really write it better.
Yep, I agree. I thought they did very well by
pop.
her. I think
big pop.
Huge pop. Hardcore Country got a big pop.
Especially in a WWE.
They wrote Impact Women's Champion.
I think they did that intentionally because they're like, do they know what knockouts are here? Like, to a WWE audience, they don't know Hardcore Country, by the way. To pop for that song, I know her name comes up on the Tron, but like, that's pretty cool. Like, that must be a pretty cool moment for Mickie to have her own music on. I'm sure that was a topic of conversation for her last time she was there. Like, hey, can I have my own music instead of having, this song? Like, and they'll probably like, I'm not saying she asked, but like they'll probably like, absolutely not. Like, you're not having that. Like, but like to come out to that, like that's, and she was in there for a reasonable chunk of time. And again,
she was
eliminated by Lita. I mean, you couldn't, you know what I mean? Like you couldn't, like that didn't hurt anybody. It just was well done.
Yeah. And I thought the announcers did a couple, like when she first came in, they were like looking to make an impact.
Good
and
stuff.
like, they were kind of, a couple things like that when Lita eliminated her, they said, "Oh, Lita was made the final impact on Mickie James." Kind of couple little dig, whatever, but in a good way, like putting it over.
Good stuff.
I had no complaints.
Let's talk about
Mickie
Lita,
James
by the way.
In the Rumble.
Lita looked fantastic, and
she did.
Now, something that I will say that was a bit of a bummer about the Women's Royal Rumble is when you build that you're having the Bellas, and we'll talk about the Bellas in a minute, but the Bellas and Summer Rae and Kelly and Lita and Mickie and all these people, especially when you had Lita on television interacting with Charlotte. I'm not saying that I was like, oh my God, Lita should win. I would have loved if Lita won, but they did make it seem, oh my God, Lita's a legit contender. And again, big overlaying problem of this whole night. She was just tossed out like nothing. And that's a problem. Also, Lita should be coming back for another run. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. Let her have her retirement and let her have... She can definitely go. Like, she can definitely still go.
She could definitely have a WrestleMania match, and it would be a good one. It would be a good
Maybe
one.
her and Sasha.
Yeah, that'd be good. That'd be a good spot for Sasha because it looks like she's not going to have anything major to do. Fighting a legend like that in their last go round is something major to do. So
Mania, give Lita that send off. Like, she never really got a send off. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we've all heard the story about her actual retirement and stuff like that. So, but yeah, she looked really good. Lita got one of the biggest pops of the whole night, to be completely honest. It was huge. Bellas, Brie looked better than Nikki. Brie looked good, and Brie got a big pop too. By the way, all these people that say "fuck the Bellas," well, listen to their reactions. Big pops.
She had the whole crowd doing the yes chant and all that.
And she got her revenge on Nikki. She got her revenge.
She did.
On Nikki.
That was a good little moment too, where she did get the revenge on.
Now,
Nikki,
something I didn't like about the Bellas is with the Sarah Logan, Liv Morgan situation.
Okay, so this is what I want. Yeah, I want to dive into this.
You take this because I've been ranting.
So first of all, awesome to see Sarah Logan back. Cool. She gets in the ring, and her and Liv Morgan are about to have this moment. And they start to have this moment, and then the Bella Twins get involved, break it up, and the Bella Twins end up eliminating both of them, giving them the loser, and they're building it like that. You want to build to if you're going to have a multi-women's WrestleMania match and try to make the women's tag titles seem important again and things like that, and you're going to throw in the Bellas, I wouldn't be opposed if they could hang around if the Bellas would actually win it, because I think they're of that stature that you could raise the belts with.
For a long time, the Bellas were the only tag team in that division. Like, that title is made for people like them. And like
exactly, and they're a name that people know. They can carry it through the summer until SummerSlam when you want to crown that.
I don't know how much Nikki's got in her, to be honest.
Exactly, there are factors, but
tag matches are pretty. I mean, Brie could probably take the majority of that load on. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean?
I agree. And I think you can attribute this one moment with these four girls to the problem with WWE. You have the Bellas there, and don't get me wrong, Hall of Famers, yes, no question, like all-timers, the Bellas. Liv Morgan is your current superstar, one of your current superstars that you have tried to build to be something a little bit, but like you want to be a future star. If Sarah Logan is coming back full-time, she is a young, current superstar of yours that you want to build. And what you did was you had the legends eliminate them, make them look stupid, and then you move forward that way.
Struggle.
Like if you're going to get to that match, that's fine.
Nothing.
Why can't you just reverse that? Why can't they eliminate the Bellas and you make it that the moment where the two current superstars you have look good, and then the Bellas are now angry, and the Bellas are the one that want revenge and want to have that.
It was odd.
It was just odd. It's like, why don't you put your current? They never put the current people over the legends. The legends are always more important.
And then they complain when they have no stars, and it's like, well,
correct.
Well, you're not allowing people to prosper. By the way, do you think Sarah Logan is back?
It seemed to me that they were building towards a Riot Squad versus Bella's tag match at some point.
They had a moment on .com, Liv and Sarah, where they were just like hugging and crying, and like Liv was like, I this is amazing to have Sarah Logan by my side again. I mean, the elephant in the room is that the actual Riot is not there, but whatever, like it's still cool to see them back, and they need tag teams and stuff. Like, I would not be opposed to Sarah Logan. Sarah Logan is a great performer, by the way. Someone that probably didn't get their props as how good she is in the ring. Different look, different feel. Like her and Liv obviously they just mesh.
You are going, and if you are going for that,
do you think the Bellas are coming back for a little while?
I do. I do think the Bellas are going to be involved in the women's tag title picture at least through Mania. I think, and I could see now that they go, hey Sarah, are you like we could do the Riot Squad? Beth Phoenix looked awfully good last night.
We're going to talk about that.
Have Beth Phoenix and Natalia. You could reform. You could do a lot of things.
But they won't.
I have no faith.
No,
I have no.
They don't deserve. Trust me.
Yeah, I have no faith that they'll do these things. But it looked like, at least with that moment, it looked like they were setting up a future issue with the Riot Squad and the Bellas, especially like after they eliminate them, when the Bellas are giving them the losers
thing,
and like talking
JPJ,
crap. It's just
I'm all for this, and I'm all for it. But we've fucking seen that so many times. I watched that in Australia in 2018. I've seen it happen so many times. Like, if you're gonna have the Bellas wrestle, what do you want to do it against a team they've never fought before? And this is no disrespect to Sarah and Liv, but like the bump card for Nikki Bella is not long. She hasn't got lots in her. If you're going to have her wrestle, at least have them wrestle someone they haven't before. That's just my opinion. But the Bellas did look good. Both of them looked really good. Brie had a great run in there. And Brie never gets put on over Nikki, ever. So it was nice to see Brie get that spot, at least for me. I love them both. You know me, I'm a Bella person. But Alicia Fox was in the Rumble. They had like a Team Bella callback to a few years ago. That was cool.
Yeah, and then they eliminated her.
Loser. They did all that. There was a few other little spots, but let's just... Oh, by the way, Charlotte Flair was in at like number 17.
Oh, yeah, Charlotte.
By the way,
she was the...
Again, people shit on Charlotte, but her music hit and the intensity in that stadium went through the roof. Like, she's just a super megastar.
Exactly, because Charlotte comes out, and she's one of the few in both Rumbles that she comes out, and you go, she can win this.
Oh, but I have
100% she can win this.
Trust me, I was
mad
at.
Yeah, and then how many people, like, honestly, in 30 women, how many of them, honestly, that when they came out of their music hit, you were like, oh, they have a chance to win this?
2.
Like, exactly. And the men's might have even been the same number
0.
or less.
0.
You know?
Here's the thing. 28, Ronda Rousey's music hit, and I was like, well, we know where this is going.
Yeah, there's the winner. Yeah,
it's fine. Yeah. Huge, monstrous reaction for Ronda Rousey. Again, another person that gets, we hate Ronda, we don't want Ronda here. And then her music hits and everyone shits their pants. So, whatever. Ronda looked good. I mean, she had a baby in, September?
Yeah.
Good for her. Comes out, clears house, does all her spots, mean mugging. You know how Ronda Rousey is. Eliminates a bunch of people. And this is where people just start getting tossed out and tossed out and tossed out and tossed out. Let's just get to the meat and potatoes here. We're down to, I believe the final 4 was Bianca, Rhea?
Charlotte.
And Ronda?
Baszler and Rousey.
Gotcha. Rhea was in there like just before that.
Rhea went out, I think she was the 5th.
Right.
She was the 5th.
So Bianca just got thrown out like nothing. Didn't matter in the overall scheme of things. Rhea, gone. And before we knew it, we're down to Charlotte, Shayna, and Ronda. They were the 3, weren't they?
Yes.
Shayna's number 30. They had like a cool little moment, I guess, in some ways with Ronda.
I wanted to see them fight. They like kind of started to square off, and I was like, oh, I want to see this. I want to see them go.
Charlotte threw out Shayna.
Charlotte disposed of Shayna, and then you're like, okay, it's Charlotte and Ronda, and then it was...
And then, okay... All right, I'm a pro Charlotte person, 1,000%. So are you.
As well.
We love Charlotte. We think Charlotte's fantastic. Definitely, she's at another level. They tossed her out like fucking garbage.
Yeah, like it was nothing. And she was in that Rumble for a long time.
There was
long
nothing
time, and she had a
to
lot
it.
of good moments.
Ronda was like,
a lot of good
see ya, you're SmackDown Women's Champion, who you've clearly positioned as in the company's eyes, she is the biggest thing they have. There's nobody bigger than Charlotte Flair, with the exception of maybe Becky. But they're on par. Like, there's a level here, and it's Charlotte and Becky, and then every other fucking piece of shit that they think they have, right? And they tossed out Charlotte like she was furniture to Ronda Rousey because, Ronda's back, so fuck you. Fuck you, Charlotte, the SmackDown Women's Champion, who shouldn't even been in this fucking Rumble in the first place, but was in there, and they tossed her out like she was free furniture that you leave at the front of your house for people to take away. And that's I'm gonna say that line again in the other Rumble, but it didn't matter. And Charlotte just was out. Ronda won. The sign literally caught on fire because even it knew that
it literally did. Yeah,
it was like fuck this.
It lit on fire. Yeah, I again.
What a mess, dude! It's just a mess. An absolute mess.
We had I'm not going to jump the gun, but we had 2 people last night win these Rumble matches that did not need to win these Rumble
matches. Ronda Rousey.
And
I'll say this again for Brock. Ronda Rousey could come out on Raw tomorrow.
Correct.
Go out and say, hey, I'm going for the women's title. And would go, all right.
Okay. She's a big enough star, and Brock is too. And there's things that happened in the event that we'll talk about that was enough reason to me for Brock to want a title match against Roman.
And Brock's the same. He could come out and go, I'm going for the WWE Championship.
They
would go, okay.
Exactly. They are big enough stars with a big enough criteria.
I even thought Charlotte throwing Ronda out here was a better option than Ronda winning. Because Charlotte, at least we could have some intrigue of like, who's Charlotte going to pick? Not that I liked it, but
yeah.
What?
but here's the thing: the reports, and it's
Oh,
and
I've
it's a
seen
Meltzer report, so you got to take it for what it is. But the reports are saying that Rousey is going to end up fighting Charlotte at WrestleMania anyway. So why the fuck did she need to win the Royal Rumble? Why couldn't Charlotte have eliminated her at some point
Or why
in the
couldn't
Rumble? And
why couldn't Ronda
I-
like run in and throw Charlotte out without being in the
yeah,
actual match?
yeah, yeah.
Set up
Some
Mania.
you can build to that match a different way.
By the way, Charlotte
Especially
and Ronda
when-
we've seen before, and it was a belter of a match. They had a great match, but
Oh yeah,
I'm
no,
sorry.
it's going to be a great match. Yeah,
I'm sorry,
not-
but I'm not. I'm a Charlotte again. I'm a Charlotte pro person. Give me Charlotte all damn day. But Ronda Becky is the only match that makes that we want from Ronda.
I agree. So, the report is that she signed a year deal, and she has 2 WrestleMania matches on the report. So I'm assuming it'll be Charlotte this year, and then we're going to get the Becky match next year, and they're going to like recycle and rebuild to
But it's
Ronda
like
Becky.
hot now, like where Becky is right now and where Ronda is right now. Let's just do this.
Yeah,
Let's just
I agree.
do this.
I agree,
And I think
that's the
Charlotte
way
and
they should've-
Ronda would be a better wrestling match than Becky and Ronda, but the story is way better with Becky and Ronda than
Oh, the
Charlotte
story.
and
Well,
Ronda.
yeah, because there's major history with Ronda and Becky, and they never had that one-on-one match. It ended up being the triple threat with Charlotte. So they never had that one-on-one, like, hey, no, this is just me versus you. Like, we have an issue. It's me versus you. It was Charlotte was added in there to add for whatever reason at that WrestleMania match. Why couldn't it have just been one-on-one? I still don't understand it. And this is not an anti-Charlotte thing. This is just the story was always Becky and Ronda. The match should have been Becky and Ronda.
And we still could get that. We could be talking out of our ass and it doesn't happen.
Yeah, we could.
But
we could.
I don't know, dude. With how everything's going, it's probably going to happen that way. And again, not shitting on the match. They'll have a great match, but like, who are we meant to cheer in that situation? Charlotte is not a good babyface. Charlotte is a heel. She's a Flair. She's a heel.
And it makes me worry because I don't pay attention. It's not that I don't pay attention. I don't watch a lot of like the web interviews during the
and
show.
Ronda had
afterwards. Ronda had one where she basically shit on all the fans, and she was like, I don't care about this stuff. This stuff is stupid. I just want, I came back because blah, blah, blah. Like she was heel, asked, like you people are dumb. I don't care.
I heard the reaction and I won't fall for it this time, which I don't mind. I like those underlying kind of nuances from her.
So she's going to be a heel. So
she's going to be that wrestling's fake. Like I'm an MMA star.
Yeah, exactly. You people are idiots for liking this stuff.
I think the interviewer, I can't remember who it was, probably Sarah. She said to her, so why now? Why would you pick now to come back? And she's like, it's the Royal Rumble, and I've always wanted to win a Royal Rumble. And she's like, okay, so what's next? She's like, I'm going to my bus to take care of my baby because my priorities have changed. And I'm like, okay, I'm not opposed to this at all. Like you're a shitbag and like you don't, but like, doesn't that like, then why do it? Like if, like how does that make any sense of like, well, why come out and do it then? Like other than just like if your priorities have changed, then you're the only one that's making yourself do, like it just, there's some holes, which I'm sure, well, actually I'm not sure because it's WWE. I hope we'll get some holes filled and we'll kind of tie some loose ends, but it's just that situation that the Rumble was fun. There was obviously some problems, but I thought the ending was just like, well,
then the ending was really the only major problem I had with it. I actually, we were talking a little bit before. I enjoyed, like, if you asked me if I enjoyed this Rumble match, I did. I thought there were a good mix. I thought the way that the wrestlers came in was a good mix of legend to current to legend. I would have liked to have seen a couple NXT. I would have liked to have seen Dakota Kai.
Fuck NXT,
maybe Raquel Gonzalez.
Although they would have just been buried in there.
Yeah, Io Shirai would have been really nice to see as well, but they didn't. They decided to go no NXT literally throughout the night at all. But that is what it is. I thought overall it was good. Just again, like I look at the Royal Rumble for two things. One, obviously the winner is going to the main event. I look for them to build new stars in the Royal Rumble. And last year we saw that with Bianca. The year before we saw it with Drew. Like I felt like they were on a pretty good couple years here of like making someone new a main eventer. And I thought they had the opportunity to do it tonight. Oh, tonight again, I said it, but last night, and they didn't give me anything to be excited for. They didn't give me anything to be excited for with the choices that were made. It was like, okay, cool, like great. But one thing I did like before we leave the women's rumble, because it made sense. Mighty Molly.
Oh, what a time!
So
I love.
She comes
Molly.
out. Yeah, I love her. She comes out and she gets attacked by Nikki ASH, who is the current superhero on the roster.
She's like, bitch,
who
that's
just
my
turned
thing.
Heel. Exactly. And she gets in the ring and she's slapping her and giving her a submission and she's talking crap like, you look what you did, blah, blah. And she eliminates her real quick. Now, I would have liked to have seen Molly Holly go a little bit longer, but that made sense.
Yeah,
that
definitely.
was a cool little, again, another cool little legend return that was used to make a current superstar
They did that right.
look good.
And
that's how you're supposed to do it.
Now,
that's how
I would assume, I don't know.
That'd be a cool little
Molly
match, wouldn't it?
produced that.
Molly,
Definitely.
yes. Sean Ross Sapp actually reported, he said that she pulled double duty. She was in the match and produced
She had
the
to
match
have put her hand up and said, hey, let's do this in the Rumble.
Idea.
Like, I'm willing to do this. Because Molly is she was always like this, a very selfless talent. She would always put people in a good spot. And I think that's what she tried to do with... She probably works with Nikki a lot, actually. Now that I think about it.
I bet you.
Molly's a great mind, by the way, too. So I'm glad that she's there.
And I thought that was one of the cool little mini moments of the Rumble where it was like, oh, that was cool. Like an evil superhero taking out the old legendary superhero. Like it made perfect sense. It was a nice little thing.
But to tie this up in a bow, the best moment of the whole night and that Rumble was Right to Censor Ivory. Like there's nothing better.
Tremendous.
Okay. We won't spend too much time on the non-Rumble matches, but Becky and Doudrop distracted because of the sign. Fine match. Exactly what I thought it was going to be. Cool.
Yeah, I thought Becky did a really good job of. I thought Doudrop looked good. I thought Doudrop looked good. She hit some big moves. She looked like a viable competitor in there. You just know how I feel about what they do with the women's storylines. They just pick and place and pick and place and pick and place. So you knew what was going to happen. But I actually think this match I actually enjoyed the match for the most part.
Cool ending, by the way.
Yeah, it was fine. It was fine. Yeah, it was a very cool ending. But like Doudrop looked good. I thought she looked like a powerhouse. She hit some cool moves. Becky was very selfless in the match. She got the crap kicked out of her. Did a
Molly go around too?
Doudrop look good. Yep, she did. Yeah, she had to hit the oh my god, the man slam. What do they call it?
She literally referred to it on the Broken Skull sessions as the rock bottom. So that's what I'm going to call it.
Well, she hit that move from the second rope to have to beat her. So yeah, all in all, I thought it was solid. Nothing,
isn't it? It's a Uranagi.
Yeah, something like that. So yeah, I thought it was good. It was good for what it was.
Exactly what I thought it was going to be, to be honest.
Yeah.
I agree. WWE title match: Bobby and Brock.
I like the match, the ending. You know,
I like a good swerve. I like that.
Yes. Yeah, I did too. And I think.
But again, this could have just been like the setup. More of this will be talked about in the Rumble, but the match itself, cool, like fast, heavy hitting. Some of those Germans were rough.
Well, first of all, Lashley specifically. Ooh. He was landing like right on his shoulder and neck for like all of these. Like it looked, I was like, bro, you're gonna get hurt, man. Like you are not taking those well. But the German suplex battle that they that's the part like at the beginning they were giving each other and like Lesnar's reaction when Bobby hit him with the German, he was okay, and like Lesnar, you know, like that part of the match I liked. I like a good swerve as well, especially the Heyman thing when Roman
that was fine,
hits the spear. And then he goes and looks at Heyman and he asks for the belt and Heyman goes, yeah. And you find out that Heyman was working Brock the whole time and he's still with Roman. Like,
cool story.
Cool, I'm all good with that.
Paul's great at that.
I just think, yeah. And as we get to it, when we'll talk about it, but like, I just felt what happened at the end of this match to me was enough evidence.
Vroom, vroom, you know?
Correct. Like, it's enough evidence that Lesnar could have showed up at SmackDown on Friday
and killed
and said, hey,
Roman.
Yeah. And went after Heyman and killed Roman and said, hey, that was bullshit. I'm going after you. And that
I never got my Universal title match.
Correct. Never got it. You just cost me that title. Everyone saw it. You cheated. I
Adam
lost
Pearce,
the title.
make the
Well,
match.
guess what?
Oh, it is
now
official.
Now
Great.
I'm coming after your title.
Or
that's enough.
Or Brock goes to Saudi Arabia, wins the Elimination
and wins
Chamber.
the Elimination Chamber. Yeah, and goes Roman.
Fuck off.
Or whatever. However they
Why?
do. Yeah.
We'll talk about more of the Rumble in a second. But the match itself, up until that ending, I thought was... It could have probably been a little quicker, to be honest. A little more rapid.
Yeah, yeah.
But, like,
yeah.
Cool. Had its spots. Two
was
big
fun.
behemoths. Cool. And I'm not opposed to Bobby Lashley being WWE champion again, because I'm all for that.
They did, towards the end of the match, they kind of made him look like a little... He
looked like a little bit
He
cheap.
weakly won that title. He won that title very weakly.
I mean, that's,
but
again,
still, like,
overlying big problem of WWE.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. The mixed tag was way better than it had any right to be. Like, way better.
Mm-hmm.
Those are 4 pros in that ring that knew what they were doing.
Mm-hmm.
That match was... Okay, first off, I have to say this right off the bat. Maurice did a Hurricane Rana, and I was like, holy fucking shit.
I was going to say the top rope Hurricane Rana was a thing of beauty.
Good for her.
Thing of beauty.
Maurice looked good.
Yeah, thing of beauty.
Maurice did some spots.
She
Beth
did.
Phoenix
and I'm glad.
is a beast.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. I would love to see her come back for a small mini run.
A small mini run? I think she could probably go for years if she wanted to.
I know. With Edge being back, and you after the match, you saw the daughters were at ringside, and they went and grabbed them and walked up the ramp with them, and like
good for them.
I feel like if Edge is going to be back and he's doing kind of not a full part-time, but a semi part-time, there's no reason why they can't work that schedule out the same.
Her and Michelle, let's go.
Like,
come on, let's get them back. Like, let's get them going.
Yeah, why not?
But Beth is huge. And I don't mean that in the direct, like, she is.
No, she is jacked.
She's scary. Yeah. Like, I'm scared of her.
Yeah.
Like, she would beat the shit out of me. But Maurice looked great.
Oh.
Matching gears. Fuck yeah. They had some spots like with Maurice and Beth and Miz, and even Maurice and Edge. The brick was there. The
brick was, I was going to say.
Solid brick.
The brick. Which you can go see a legacy of.
I did the legacy of Maurice.
If you want to, yeah.
I mean,
you're welcome for that.
At this point, I just will do anything, won't I? You said, I said it in your chat on Between Two Beards, and
I know
and
we were on
like,
between. This is the second time now that you've been in the Between Two Beards chat, and we've been talking about something, and you said it, and we're like, yeah, go make a legacy of, or we'll just like hint to like, oh, and you literally.
I did it.
Go and make a legacy of. You got to do it more often, I guess. But it's good stuff.
But yeah, the brick was there. Hurricane Ranas, exactly who I thought won in exactly the way I thought it was going to happen, and it's not a bad thing.
I did like the double glam slam.
Oh,
I did like the double glam slam.
Also, Edge does that
getting
move
the win off it. He does. Yeah, it was good.
And the double spears they did, and
yeah, it was very good.
Sign me up.
Like you said, I thought. Yeah.
Now let's move on though. We don't need more of this. Just move along, and I would like Edge to fight AJ Styles. But like personally, that's got to be Mania, right?
I think so.
There's nothing for else.
They do.
That's
Edge and AJ.
What else is there to do? You know what I mean? Like that's just.
I think it's Edge and I've been saying, I feel pretty confident. I think that's the direction they're going to go.
I hope so. But yeah, great stuff. Really fun mixed tag. Honestly, I probably enjoyed that match. Other than the Rumbles, at least in the 3 in the middle of the matches, maybe not Roman and Seth, but the 3 in the middle, I thought that was the best.
I agree. Of the 3 post women's Rumble matches, that the mixed tag was the most solid of the 3.
Yeah, good stuff.
I thought besides the ending, the Roman Seth stuff was the best non-Rumble match, but the mixed tag was really good.
Okay, here we go. Get ready.
Now we talk about something that was not really good.
I will say this, pretty much 99% of that Rumble I hated.
To me,
hold up. Just 1 second.
Yeah.
AJ Styles and Shinsei Nakamura, which for some reason at the start of the day, my sister asked me, she's like, who's going to start the Rumble? I said, AJ and Shinsuke. And I laughed. And I was like, well, the fuck, I'm right. Okay, the first problem of this match was that I got excited because AJ's going to be like Sasha, the Iron Man. And he's going to go to the final four. Or he'll be at least to the end in kind of situation. Also, as soon as Brock got that DQ and everything like that, got the title, I was like, oh, fuck me. Brock's going to win the fucking Rumble. Here we go. So I was going into this Rumble like, please don't do that. Like, don't do that, please. But anyway, AJ started with Shinsuke. The first problem here is what I'm going to say for nearly every single elimination outside of a few. Shinsuke was thrown out and it
Um,
like it wasn't even
like almost
acknowledged.
immediately.
It was
No,
almost
he
like
he
it was just
like it didn't matter.
like
And that
it
was
just
like
didn't matter, and that was the problem throughout this whole. Also, we didn't get a single fucking surprise until Drew. I don't count as a surprise. I'm sorry, he was there 4 weeks ago.
no. I'm glad he was in it because
He was
there
a
were
half
rumors
a
that he was going to be
surprise.
out for a long time. But yes,
Me
but
too.
he's
I'm
not.
all for Drew, but he was not. We didn't get
Yeah,
a
yeah,
surprise
yeah.
until Bad fucking Bunny came out, dude.
Who again?
I mean,
Again,
at
though,
that point in that Rumble,
looked
by the way, I
fantastic.
was
He
like,
looked
I
fantastic.
hope Bad Bunny wins because there's no saving this bullshit.
Here's the thing: can we get him to be full time? Because he's actually
please,
like,
let's go Canadian
whew,
Destroyers all
goodness
around, my
gracious.
dude. Like, and he's
Yeah.
over and like, but like at that point, anyway. Let's cycle back here.
Yeah.
The moment, the shining moment of this, and I say that it's like, shining up a shit at this point, but the shining moment was Johnny Knoxville hitting a solid fucking forearm on AJ Styles.
Yeah.
Great
Yeah,
stuff.
he did.
And then he just got,
Yeah.
he ate some finishes and was, and
he
was
got
out
his
of
ass
there.
kicked.
Sami Zayn
Yeah.
tossed out like garbage.
A lot of guys. All right, so here's my problem. All the guys that got really good pops from the crowd were all eliminated throughout the match. Like nothing mattered.
Big E was the
Kevin
biggest
Owens
one. Big E
didn't
was
matter.
the bigger one.
Big E was. They treated Big
He
E
was
like
the
a friggin' joke.
WWE champion 1 month ago.
Yeah, and they treated him like a friggin' joke. Why on earth are fucking Baron Corbin and Madcap Moss dominating a Royal Rumble?
Why
match?
did Madcap Moss eliminate AJ Styles?
AJ Styles.
You know what's
Madcap
really
Moss.
you know what's
Why?
really pisses me off? AJ Styles has become a good hand in that company.
It's
He's become a
unbelievable to me.
solid hand.
Yeah.
That's
Where was Finn Balor? Finn Balor was
he's
not in
out
this
of the
Royal
country.
Rumble. Cesaro.
He's out of the country.
Is he? Okay.
Finn Balor,
Cesaro
he
was
said
not
he was in
this
the
Royal
UK.
Rumble.
But where was Cesaro? Like, where the
Cesaro
fuck was
wasn't in there?
Cesaro? But you had
Like,
people like Madcap Moss and, no disrespect, but Ridge Holland.
To me, it was one of these
Big E
things.
was the biggest one for me, though. That was like, you have just single. He's now just back on SmackDown in the tag division.
Yep. He's
Poor
back
Kofi.
to New Day.
I felt
Big E.
so bad for Kofi.
Oh, I know.
And that was that just wrapped everything up.
The
of
epitome.
The bubble.
That was the epitome of the men's
the
Royal
Rumble.
Rumble
It was
in
like,
one sequence.
But like
And
any
you
other
could feel
time,
the
they don't
crowd
camera.
too.
They don't show that on the camera. And the one time they show.
No.
And they
Yeah.
slow mode. I'm
And you
like,
could hear-
couldn't you just lie?
You could
Just
hear the
lie.
announcers. The announcers at first were like,
Did he
"Should
hit?
we pretend that didn't happen, or are we doing like what?" You could see they were like, "What are we doing?" Like, "Oh, we don't did a hit." Oh,
But like, it was just the
But it was
epitome
once-
of that Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
It's like, well, Kofi's
It
even
really
fucked up.
was.
It was bound to happen one year, to be honest.
I was gonna say we were kind of due, right? They've had so many of those that
What
have
was
gone
he
off
gonna
without a
do?
hitch. Like one of,
What do you reckon he was gonna do?
I'm assuming he was gonna cling on like that, but without his feet hitting the ring,
But
and then
then-
he would probably just get up and jump back.
But that he's done.
That's what I
that.
assumed he was gonna. Yeah, I didn't think it was gonna be anything. In this whole Rumble, I didn't. Did you think anything was gonna be original or anything?
True.
I think
I
it was
mean,
gonna
not
be
even
something
Naomi
we've
got to
probably
have-
seen before.
She looked like she was going to do something in the women's rumble, but then Sonya stopped it, and I was like, oh, we didn't even get that. We didn't get
No,
any
we
cool.
didn't
Get any cool things, but that just like as soon as it happened, I was like, oh, and then I was like, oh. And it wasn't poor Kofi. I felt bad for him. I didn't like, oh, he fucking butched that. Like, I was like, oh, man, like, that's just
that
a
stinks.
bummer. Because you know that he
Yeah.
would have been beating himself up over that.
And I think maybe, and again, I think it needed a lot more saving than this, but maybe Kofi was going to be involved throughout the Rumble match a little
Doubtful.
bit. You think so?
He would
You
have
don't
done.
think that maybe had?
Dude, are you kidding?
You
He
don't-
would have done the
Nah,
jump, and then
but
Happy Corbin would have thrown him out as soon as he got back in that fucking ring. It would have happened. Trust me, it would have happened. You know that it would have happened too. Don't try.
I
And
guess
sit
that
there
was
and
that
argue
was honestly my biggest problem with the Rumble, and it's not even because I dislike Corbin. It's
You
what
should
does
not
that
be.
do?
It means nothing because
What
he's
does
going to
that
be
do?
losing again in a week to.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
Tom,
what
Dick,
does
or
that do?
Harry.
That doesn't get the crowd to think, "Oh man, Happy Corbin!" Like they're gonna make. What does that do? It does
Nothing.
nothing.
It just
He's
hurts
eliminating
people.
people like Ricochet, who could
Dude.
have a good run in the Royal Rumble,
Shane
and like people
McMahon
would get behind
eliminated
Ricochet.
Kevin Owens.
Shane McMahon was in the final 4 of the Royal.
He
Why?
was the surprise.
Why? Because
He
you know,
eliminated
in
Kevin
their
Owens,
mind,
who I thought was going to win.
Yeah. yeah, and he should have been in the final 2, 3, or 4. Kevin, like, and it's one of those things where it's like, because that it just shows you that in their mind they consider Shane McMahon to be one of the biggest stars they have, and that is the problem. That right there
They
is the
don't
problem.
build any new stars. They don't build
They
any
don't
new
build
talent.
anybody. They had at one point, I think we were late into the Rumble. Like we were in the late teens or early
I was ready
20s,
to
and there were
turn it off,
five
I think.
people. There were 5 people left in the ring, and they were literally like Happy Corbin, Madcap Moss, Ridge Holland, Sheamus, and someone else. And I was sitting there going like, not one of these guys matters in this match right now. And we're at like number, like when someone came out and they said it was like number 21 or 22. I'm like, we're already at 22? What? There's nothing has happened here. Nothing has happened.
I genuinely mean this when I say this. I think that was, at least for the ones that I've watched, that was the worst Rumble I've ever watched.
I mean, it's automatically got to be in the discussion.
And I've watched wrestling nonstop for 21 years.
It was boring. 2015 rings a bell with forcing the Roman moment.
Hold up. But 2015 had heat that mattered. At least you could build off of that heat in some way. Yeah, okay, it wasn't ideal. This has no substance to it.
Yeah, this didn't matter. This was nothing.
At least you had these pieces in that puzzle that was like, okay, the Authority are pieces of shit. Like, I'd like to see someone take out the Authority, and we have Dean that we're building. This, I'm sorry, but this didn't. The Brock, when Brock's music hit, I was like,
and I think that was the problem is you had 2 Royal Rumbles. The second Ronda Rousey's music hit, you knew it was over. The second Brock Lesnar's music hit, you knew it was over. And it was just like, all right, well.
And it was the same thing with the Brock Drew thing as the Ronda Charlotte thing. Drew was just tossed out. And I like Drew, but like, it didn't help
I actually
him.
thought the end. Yeah, and when it was the last 2 and it was them, that was one of the few, and when I say few, like literally like 2 moments in the men's rumble where I was like, okay, yeah, because they have a history. Drew eliminated Brock at the last rumble with people. Yeah, okay, cool. Like this is cool that they're the final 2, but then like you said, they didn't square off for a few minutes or have this back and forth. It was just like, nope, you're out. See ya.
It didn't help anybody. Right, well, it didn't make me feel sympathy for Drew. It didn't even make me care enough to hate Brock. I'm just like,
yeah.
And then the sign caught on fire again. I was like, me too. Sign.
Wait, did it the second time it caught on fire?
Sean Rossap put it up. Wow, he was at the Rumble.
I knew it did the first. I knew it.
He said it caught on fire.
I knew it did the first time. I didn't. Yeah, I was.
It was literally melting.
I think at that point it was so late where I am, and I was so dejected. I was like, I'm just going to bed. So I just went to. I was like, man.
I was ready to turn it off. I was like, that's done.
My problem is like, if you know, like, there's nobody back there that's like, hey, maybe we shouldn't main event with this. Like, there have been bad Rumbles before.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
but it has to because of the Brock situation. It had to go on last. That's the problem. And that's the problem.
I mean, but you don't think the Ronda Rousey moment wouldn't have been a good way to
How the fuck would you go from, you had to have the Rumble after the Brock match?
Yeah, yeah.
Because they would have then had fucking idiots.
Yeah, that wouldn't have. Yeah. Oh my god. I don't know. It was just like
the girls' Rumble was
heading into.
It was so much better than the boys' Rumble, but and the girls' Rumble was flawed.
Yeah, it was flawed. But I think it was
still way better.
I just think the men's Rumble was so mid, so like
I
thought it was
happened. Bottom of the barrel. Like, I've never been more disgusted, especially because there was so much hype and Rumbles are so fun and all of this stuff. But I was just like, you really don't care about anybody but 2 or 3 people. And it's evident. And like, I have no problem with Roman and Brock, but like, we have seen Roman and Brock at WrestleMania alone a couple of times.
I was going to say that whole pay-per-view proved that they only give a shit about one story.
There is no stories coming out of that I can sense. If the Charlotte Ronda reports didn't come out, I would not know that Charlotte and Ronda is what they have on tap for WrestleMania.
Yeah, you'd expect it to be Becky. You'd be like, oh, Becky Ronda, that makes sense. But
and
now,
like, also, have you noticed something is that they have a really hard time building any credible baby faces because every single person in that story, even to a little lesser of extent, Brock, is at least a tweener or a heel. They are not full-fledged baby faces. Like again, WWE have this really awful problem where they make their baby faces look like fucking morons. Morons, like
All the time.
true morons.
All the time.
And that's a problem. It's like a massive
It's
problem.
a big problem.
And I hate it. And I hated everything about that. And it really, really irritated me. And I just go back to this point over and over again. You have Big E, who was your WWE champion 30 days ago. And now he is tossed out in the Royal Rumble. And it didn't matter. There was no acknowledgement.
Oh.
There was no big spot. There was nothing. It was just like another person. And now he's simply just back on
the
SmackDown
afterthought
with Kofi. And I'm not opposed to them being a team, but like, you ended that reign of Big E because you booked yourself into we have to do this, because if it looks like Brock Lesnar is just tossed into this match and he doesn't win, we've just tossed him in. Well, you did just toss him in, and you booked on the fly instead of booking with the sense of where we're going next. Brock Lesnar did not need to be on that show. It was fine. You could have built the whole pay-per-view around that Fatal 4-Way, and we wouldn't have cared. And you could have just had Brock and Roman fight at the Royal Rumble and done something screwy to get to WrestleMania. But instead, you booked yourself into this spot where you're like, oh, well, we have to do this, even though you don't have to do this. And then instead of Big E fighting
Bobby Lashley. Brock Lesnar.
Brock Lesnar, you had Big E not do anything, and Bobby Lashley went for the WWE champion. And now Bobby Lashley's your WWE champion, and it's pretty evident, without reading any reports, that you have no fucking idea what to do with that championship at WrestleMania. And that's a problem when you're 62 days away from your literal biggest show where you have to fill 2 nights of programming. Is anyone else here going, okay, I know everyone jerks 2-night WrestleManias off. I fucking hate them. I think you should have a longer show once and get it the fuck over with, because you do not have the talent pool that you care enough about for us to give a shit to watch 2 nights of WrestleMania. I'm sorry. I know that's unpopular. Everyone likes 2-night WrestleManias because they're shorter. I say get absolutely fucked with that bullshit and just have the 5-hour WrestleMania. And I'm sorry to everybody that doesn't like that opinion, but I have if you build your talent because you have the 2 or 3, 5, whatever group at the top, then you have your few that are up here, and then it's every other motherfucker. There's nobody else. You just have everyone else in a bubble, and you just go, oh, well, this match will do. This match will do. It's not the talent's fault. They all put on great matches. It's your booking and your creative of this that you just book yourself into a fucking hole all the time and time again. It's just like, can we just get some... The reason that people were so into Liv Morgan's rise, it wasn't because it was Liv Morgan. No offense to her, great talent, great person. It was because it was someone so fucking different. Finally, we got someone different, and then you just go, well, that didn't fucking work. Well, if you just literally make people look like stupid idiots all the time, of course it's not going to fucking work. And then you just give up. You have them get eliminated by people that haven't wrestled in 3 years. No offense to the Bellas. But, like, you just had to get... Oh, and that's just... I feel like I'm beating a dead horse, but, like, what the fuck, man? The reason you don't have any new stars is because you toss them out like dirt in your biggest match with arguably the most eyes on you that you have all year. I had people watch wrestling with me that don't watch wrestling but the Royal Rumble, and they left and went, well, this is why I don't watch wrestling anymore. It's because it sucks. And I'm like, I can't argue that.
No, you can't. You can't.
Sorry to get so ranty. I didn't mean to get so ranty. But
No, it is okay, because I
feel
the same. Yeah, and I do too, and I feel the same. It's just WWE, and it's been a problem for a long time, and it feels like, and I feels like it's been heightened in the last 2 to 4 years or something like that. But they have their 5 or 6 people that they rely on, and they don't give a fuck about anybody else.
I'm not against top people, by the way. I'm not against top people. No,
nothing.
Every company has to have that, but you have to give a shit
about AEW has top people.
Exactly.
AEW has their top people,
also,
but they let their
AEW
other people shine.
Breathing down WWE's neck, and I don't mean this in a direct thing. I mean this is WWE said they like to cater to every portion of the audience, casuals, hard, everything. They want to grab everybody. That's AEW to a fault. Sometimes only care about wrestling fans, and that's also a problem. But WWE said they cater to everybody. Okay, well, you're not catering to a portion of your audience that literally watches your program for wrestling, for professional wrestling. And professional wrestling and sports entertainment, I don't care what anyone says, they're the same fucking thing. Pro wrestling is sports entertainment. Sports entertainment is pro wrestling for the most part. Sure, there's different avenues that you can go with that, but I think it's the same thing. And AEW does something to the rest. AEW caters to the wrestling fans so well that it's taken away that portion of the audience for WWE. And if WWE really say that we're for everybody and we want everybody, well, then you need to do something that caters to that portion of the audience. And that doesn't just mean Kevin Owens wins every single WWE championship every single time. That's not what that means. I think AEW, we've had this conversation, do a little bit too much of that catering to the audience of like, this person, the babyface will always win. Like, no, you have to have balance because we have to give a shit and we have to have winners and losers and all that. I'm not saying that, just the wrestling people should always win. However, 1 or 2 or 3 people are the people that always win. And there's a slight exception to that rule for 5 minutes. Look at Nikki ASH last year when she won the Money in the Bank. The very next night she cashed in the Money in the Bank to win the title. 27 days later, she lost the Women's Championship. And then they went, that didn't work.
Because there was there's no plans. What? There was no plan of her. There was no build up and plan to her even winning the briefcase. They got to the Money in the Bank that day, and one guy made the decision before the match. He was like, "Yeah, we're gonna go with that."
Because
what's the plan?
We'll
figure it out.
Shock value. No.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's all they don't.
Doing that.
They don't build stories. They build moments. That's what they do.
And they book on a day-by-day basis instead of month 100%, to month or whatever.
Because they believe that the moments are the things that get remembered, not the 6 months it took to get there.
Bullshit.
And it is. It's 100% bullshit. It's ass backwards booking, but that's what they do. And
I don't hate. We both me and JPJ. You can call me a piece of shit if I'm wrong, but we are WWE people. We want WWE to succeed. I want WWE to I think every wrestling fan in some way wants WWE to succeed because it makes everything else better. Because it's more eyes and everything like that. We want thriving wrestling where I want to be... I can't miss Raw. Oh my God, I can't miss Raw. Like, I haven't been like that in years where I'm like Raw is tomorrow at time of recording. And I would just simply be like, no, I think I'm going to have a shower. I think I'm going to do some garden work. I think I'm going to eat a sandwich. Like, I'm not going to watch Raw unless I'm literally so bored that I'll have it on as background noise while I don't know, clean my fish tank. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not here to... SmackDown is not appointment... NXT is not appointment viewing. AEW is to a certain degree, but even that, again, everything is flawed, but at least AEW cares enough to make you go, I want to watch next week. I need to see what happens next week. Like, you could miss 4 Raws, and I could probably tell you the stories that happen.
You could miss every Raw from pay-per-view to pay-per-view, and you wouldn't miss any substance.
It's overproduced. It tries to be flawless television. It comes across as just horrible. The piped-in crowd noises need to fuck off. I can tell you that with a personal rage I have against that. That pay-per-view ended... And I usually, when I watch a Rumble, when everyone leaves, I'm like, oh, it's over. Like, oh my God. Like, you get that kind of like post-Rumble depression where you're kind of like, oh no, like it's over. I've looked
You're like, that was
forward,
fun.
Like, look forward to this for so long and now it's over.
It's like it's like
nothing
a
to
holiday.
look forward to.
You build up for a holiday and then it ends and you're like, all right, well, until next year. All right.
Like this time I was like, everyone left and I was just kind of like, oh my God, I'm so glad that's over.
Yeah, that sucked.
What a waste of my time.
Sucked.
Like I took a personal day off of work for the Rumble. And I didn't need to waste my time.
No.
It
was
bad.
Yeah, man.
No, it was just bad.
It was bad. It was disheartening. It's just like, man, like I said a little earlier, like we're going to WrestleMania time, like these next 6 weeks, 7 weeks, whatever they are. The Rumble starts that train to WrestleMania, that road to WrestleMania, and this is the most important time on the WWE calendar. You could argue it's the most important time on the wrestling calendar. And right now, there is not one damn thing to be excited about. At least for me personally. I'm not going to say I speak for everyone.
Twitch
I know you agree with me.
Oh, I said
I know
this
you
on
agree
Twitch
with me.
last
There
night.
is not one damn thing I am excited for at all.
I said on my
Twitch,
I said, is anybody coming out of Royal Rumble excited for WrestleMania? And literally every person in my chat said, absolutely not.
Nope. Not saying that I won't be by the time we're 2 weeks out of WrestleMania. Who knows? But right now, if you're judging on what that pay-per-view is, which is, in my opinion, it's my favorite, but it is their number 2 pay-per-view of the year to me, I think. And I think to most people, not one thing to be excited about.
Nope.
Not one thing.
Not one.
And that's disappointing.
Bullshit.
It's
That's what it
disappointing
is.
because I think as wrestling fans, even though we should know better by now, we always try to give them the benefit of the doubt. Like, oh, this is going to be the time they're going to, like, we went into that Royal Rumble, and the last year of booking and the last year of releases and just the last year of this company being this company should have given us no hope that last night was going to be any different than what we saw. And the reason why we went in there with such optimism and why we did a 2-hour show last week, excited about the Royal Rumble, is because we're still wrestling fans. And we, like you just said a little while ago, we still want the shit to be good. We still want this shit to be good. And we get reminded every time when we get excited, it is just, they are so far off the pulse to me that it is just, it's depressing. It's depressing how much you watch an event like that and you're like, this company just does not fucking get it. They just do not get it.
I think what it's saying to me is that I think this year's Mania is probably my last full active year of caring enough to go out of my way to make sure I'm watching WWE programming other than the girls, because they're the only reason that I'm watching wrestling at all, is because they continuously consistently show us that they're the only reason that you should give a damn about WWE programming, because everything else is just a convoluted mess. And I also them to a certain degree as well, but at least I care enough to watch that. I that's how I watch Raw and SmackDown a lot these times, is just picking out certain little things on YouTube and watching their YouTube stuff and just going, okay, cool. I watch pay-per-views, but I used to be a person that so obviously again, Tuesdays is Raw day for me. If someone's like, oh, do you want to go out for lunch on Tuesday? I'd be like, absolutely not. I can't do that. I can't miss Raw. Now I'm looking for excuses to get out of the house on a Tuesday, so I'm not subjected to having to put that on in the background. Or I just don't do it. I stream. We record this show usually before when it goes well into Raw, and we don't care.
Oh yeah, no. And then we won't even even if we have some time to chill after the show.
Because sometimes me and JPJ, we hang out for an hour after the show and just chit chat. And
yeah, sometimes
if
we're available. Well, no, we don't. Very few times we have, maybe towards the beginning, but not any time recently we don't. We're just like, oh, what's going on? Oh, great, another roll-up finish. Okay, cool. Another distraction or another rematch of the match we've seen 9 times in the last calendar year. It's just,
I don't care.
It's all the same. It's all copy and paste, pick and choose.
I just simply don't care.
They just don't. They care about one feud and one long-term story, which it's been a good. I'm not negative about the story. I like babyface Brock. I like Roman. I'm not negative about the story, but you should care more about just one story, and that's their priority, and nothing else matters at all. And yeah, it's just
a disappointment.
It's a letdown. That's all.
But yeah, sorry for the negative episode this week, because last week was not that. We were optimistic as fuck.
Well, we were jacked up.
Now we're just so next week we'll be back at normal time of Thursday, and we probably won't talk about wrestling because I need a bit of a wrestling detox. I think I'm coming up to that point where I'm I've been watching a lot of wrestling related things. I've been doing a lot of wrestling related things. I think I need a bit of a palate cleanser. I think I need to watch a different show. I think I need to just take a bit of a chill pill. And this is probably the perfect time. We're going into a sortie show that I probably won't watch. We're going into that, and then we can pick up where we left off with Mania. But I think it's time to just go and just kind of breathe and just take a bit of a chill pill with wrestling, which is fine. Everyone, I suggest everyone do that at some point, especially if you're feeling a little jaded with wrestling. But try and take out the positives of what you can of the Royal Rumble. Hey, if you like the Royal Rumble, I've seen a few people on Twitter being like, hey, I like that. More power to you, my friend. More power to you. Wrestling is subjective. Yeah. Not everyone has to hate this. I'm not forcing my opinion on anybody else. However, majority of what I seen was this some BS right now. This some fucking BS.
Yeah. They were quite a few questionable decisions. I'll leave it at that. Quite a few. No, that men's rumble was brutal, man. That men's rumble was brutal.
Good word to use. Boring. Could have fell asleep. Was ready to turn it off.
Yep. I didn't fall asleep, but it was late. That rumble didn't get over till close to midnight where I am, and it was hard. I got through it, but
it was nearly
hard.
4 p.m. for me, and I was ready to go to sleep.
It was hard to get through it. I was ready for bed.
They nearly put me to sleep at 4 p.m. in the afternoon. Good for you, WWE.
That did not help me want to stay up. So, yeah.
And to think on Saturday night when I went to bed, because obviously there's Sunday morning here, I was like kid on Christmas Eve, like, I'm so excited. I get to wake up and watch the Rumble.
So where I'm from in New England, we got a massive snowstorm.
I heard that. And you were worried about power outages, weren't you?
Yes. Yeah. Luckily, nothing power outage crazy, but we got over 2 feet of snow, which for us, like, that's a good size. It's happened before, but that's a lot of snow. And so my shoot job was closed for the day, the big time weather advisory. So it was a day off. It turned into a day off for me. And all day I was like, oh man, Rumble's tonight. Like, yes. All right. Like, I'm jacked up. I watched one old Rumble in the afternoon. I made plans, getting ready. All right. I got to be here at 7 for the pre-show, like Rumble time. Let's go. And then at the night, I'll admit it, the first hour, 2 hours, like, I enjoyed most of what I saw. I was like, cool, this is good. All right. And then it was just a downfall. Just an epic downfall.
It went into a bottomless pit of hell, didn't it?
Oh, and it was brutal. I'll leave it at brutal. You said it was a good word. Brutal.
Brutal is a great way to describe it. But we'll be talking, maybe, I don't know what we'll talk about next week. We'll discuss it. It'll probably be music or something, because that makes us happy all the time, because we need a nice, happy, palate cleansing episode of something next week. I don't know yet. We'll let you know. You'll know when you know. But we'll be back to our regular time of Thursday at 9 p.m. Australian Central Daylight Saving Time. So that means for you guys in the States that it's up by the time you are awake on Thursday morning. That's how it works. You catch my stuff on Fightful Overlooked. The latest, The Legacy of, is out now. The Legacy of the Divas Championship. There's a lot of Divas talk for coming out of the Rumble. You can see the artwork designed by my sister. She's a great little artist. So go and support that. Watch my streams on Twitch. Blah, blah, blah. You know the deal. What do you got between two beards? All that kind of stuff.
Yeah, Between Two Beards this Thursday night. We moved our starting time to 8 p.m. every week, Eastern Standard Time. So that's where you can find us on All Love Wrestling there. I'll be doing this thing with you still every week. And then I will be on the Fightful Overbooked very soon with a project that I'm very excited about. So be on the lookout there for when those announcements come. But sometime soon you'll start to see me on Fightful Overbooked as well. So we got some big things coming up. So
that's good.
Onward and upward, man.
Hell yeah.
Yep.
Hell yeah. All right. So, yeah, we'll see you at normal time of next Thursday here on the J&J Power Hour. Until the next one, peace out, everyone.
Peace.